people who are in a state of disease. But yeah, right now, I mean,
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is the Immigration Answer Show, episode number 827. I've been talking for the last hour and a half. I was on a webinar for international student advisors from across the land, and so I'm ready to talk. My mouth's been working for a straight hour and a half. Here I am. Am I here? You know it. You know. It's your senior love daddy. James Oliver Hacking III here to answer your immigration dreams and questions. What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday. Let's do a roll call. Erica is here. Hello, Erica. Roy says hello. Christine is sending good wishes. We got big ups from Queen Donna down in Jamaica. Horema wants to know, how do I join in to ask questions? There'll be a link to get in the waiting room, but I do note the waiting room is already full. If you want to get in the room early for tomorrow's show, and I don't know when tomorrow's show will be, dear Hina, Amani's having a little knee cleanup surgery tomorrow, so I don't know. And plus, Nora's trying to get her driver's license tomorrow, so tomorrow could be crazy. Maybe no show tomorrow, but we'll see. Let's see. I got Lindy here. Hello. Erica's wondering about Nurse Laura. Nurse Laura is great. She just started a new job down in SoCal, so we're not going to see as much of her, at least on the shows during the week. She did say she's going to watch the replays, and we'll, of course, miss her. Joanna's here. Glenn is here. Canyomes is here. Dammy's here, another one of our favorite Canadians. Lulu's here. Hello, Lulu. Got Minnie. Shauna. Shauna's giving good wishes to everybody. Let's see. Hina's spreading the word. How you can get in the waiting room. Nelson says, thank you. You're welcome. Tina's here. Tyrone. Robert explaining Nurse Laura's new job. Natalie is here. Yassine is here. Yesterday, last call. Hope she listened. Yeah, I wonder what happened at the interview today, Yassine. I hope she went. That was a crazy call. If you guys missed yesterday's show, go back to the Immigration Answers show and watch the last 10 minutes of yesterday's episode, maybe a little longer. I think we went long, but it was a crazy, crazy call, and she was getting some bad advice. We got accurate information here. Elena is here. I see 2:30 there. I don't know. That's probably when it's on the calendar. I don't know if I'm going to do a show tomorrow. That's all I meant. Dahlia's here. Dammy's rooting for evening shows. And we got Hit the Bid here. All right. So a couple interesting things. One is we have a new pope, the first American pope. That's pretty exciting. He's from Chicago, but he spent a lot of his formative years as a priest down in Peru. He's fluent in like 6 languages, and he had been elevated by Francis. So hopefully he's not one of these conservatives that I was worried about, like Raymond Burke, who used to be the Archbishop here in St. Louis. And then also really good news out of Washington, D.C. So there's a guy that graduated from law school the year behind me. His name is Ed Martin. He had been nominated. He had been the interim U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. He had been nominated by President Trump to serve as the U.S. attorney. And yesterday, a Republican senator named Tom Tillis from California had said he wasn't going to vote for Ed Martin because he doesn't have the chops to run an office like the important DC district U.S. attorney's office. And so now Ed Martin's nomination has been withdrawn by President Trump. So Ed Martin will not be the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. That's a good thing. We're just hopeful that he doesn't come back to Missouri and get appointed to the Eastern District of Missouri. That would not be good for anyone here. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the show. Robert has some intel on the new Pope, and so we're happy for that. Princess Lizzie is here, and now we'll go ahead and get started and talk to Sarah. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you again for the live. So,
Sure.
The question is, I was arrested back in 2012 for shoplifting, and that's the only criminal charge criminal offense that I have. And fast forward to I don't quite remember, like maybe 2023, I did my citizenship, and I did tell them that I did have the shoplifting arrest. And for the shoplifting, it was a conditional discharge in a year. I'm supposed to travel in about a week or so. Do you think it's safe?
What's your current status?
I naturalized. Like I said, I naturalized maybe like 2 years ago, and then I did tell them when they asked do you have any like
Yeah,
conviction, I did say yes,
I
and
think
I did say it was the shoplifting.
as long as it was all disclosed, you should be fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now how would they know what I said? I mean, say I am coming back, right? And how would immigration know that I did answer yes to that question, and I did say I had a prior shoplifting thing on my record?
If you show up at the U.S. border or CBP with a
Mm-hmm.
U.S. passport, they have to let you in.
Okay. All right. So there's not gonna be any issues. I mean, well, we can only speculate, I know, with this whole new administration. But okay. So I should be good to go.
I think so. Good luck, Sarah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the call. Bye. All right, Jess is here. Hello.
Hi, Jim.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for doing this. This is really amazing what you're doing.
Sure.
Me and my husband actually used your services to get him a green card back years ago. So thank you so much for still
Sure.
helping us out.
Sure.
So my question isn't concerning international travel, but it is concerning domestic travel just because we're not hearing things about that. I know the real ID was instated yesterday, and our idea was to get the real ID so my husband didn't even have to show his true national passport at the airport, which is Brazilian. Is anyone having problems traveling domestically on a green card, I guess, is my question.
Generally, no. I don't pay much attention to the ID rules as it relates to domestic travel. So the question is he going to have a problem showing his green card as his ID to go from state to state inside the United States?
My question, I guess, is the way we're supposed to do it. I was concerned about him being detained. There's just a lot of fear right now, I know, around travel. So I was just concerned with domestic travel. We're not planning on leaving the country.
No, he's still in the United States. All the rules apply.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's fine.
Okay. And then just one really quick question. I am pregnant and we are expecting a baby boy. We were planning on getting our baby citizenship through Brazil as soon as possible. And now that's changing a little bit and we're a little concerned to do that. Are we correct to be concerned?
What's changing?
I just feel like the current administration.
So you're asking me, Jim, as your son, by the way, congratulations on the pregnancy.
Thank you.
You're going to have a son born in the United States.
Yes. So he'll be a U.S. citizen.
Through his father, he's going to try to get a Brazilian passport.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, generally the U.S. doesn't recognize dual citizenship for anybody except for Israel, right? So everybody having two passports, it's all sort of like a dirty little secret.
Okay.
Yep. So
so I didn't say anything.
It's fine. But just if you get him his Brazilian passport, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay, great. Okay.
I don't think anything in the administration's been doing so far has been related to that. I don't think they really care about that.
Okay, great. We're just afraid, and he doesn't have citizenship. Yep, we've applied, but we're not expecting it anytime soon right now. So
how long ago did he apply?
We applied January 7th.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right. Good luck.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Princess Lizzie says I should do a video on real ID for immigrants. I guess I should. It's just sort of boring to me. I mean, I should, a lot of the videos that I make are because I get tired of answering the same question over and over. And so if people keep asking about the real ID for immigrants, I guess I will make a video, Lizzie. But I don't want people asking me questions about it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it, but it's a good idea. Amy's here. Hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. Are you driving?
Yes.
Audio is no good. No bueno on the audio. Financial worries. Hello.
Hey, Jim. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I have a question. My wife has her green card. She got it about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and she's going to be doing the 10-year green card, I think, in 2 years or so, and
Okay.
then hopefully the her citizenship. But I have a question. Right now, we're kind of going through some financial problems. We're not going to file bankruptcy or anything like that, but we're looking at possibly negotiating the credit cards down with the credit card companies. If we were to do that, would that be an issue when she tries to do the 10-year green card or her citizenship?
Nope. Not under current
Okay.
law. Not under current law. Once you have your green card, you're sort of past that analysis of public charge. So I would say no.
Okay, got it.
The only
Okay,
thing
perfect.
the only thing that might come into play, and it would be at citizenship, is whether she's current on her taxes. That's it.
Okay, got it. No, we're good on her taxes. All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good luck, brother. I hope things
Thank
turn
you.
out. See ya. All right. We got Z in the house. Hello.
Hi Jim, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good. I have a question. On April 30th, I had to withdraw my asylum application because the judge denied a continuance, a termination, or administrative closure. The continuance was to seek legal counsel. However, I had to withdraw the application because I didn't want to continue without a lawyer being present. So he ordered my removal on April 30th this year. I have a lawful entry and my wife is in the military. So I was wondering what could I do at this point.
What is your wife's immigration status?
Right now, she's in the process of becoming a citizen through the army.
Mm-hmm. And are you appealing your removal order, or are you letting it stand?
No, I'm going to appeal.
Mm-hmm. And you have an attorney for that?
No,
And is
I don't.
your wife using an attorney to get her citizenship?
Uh, the army is going to help her
Okay. And when does the army believe she'll become a citizen?
within about 6 months, they told her.
Has your wife filed an I-130 petition for you?
Yes, it's pending.
Okay. All right. So what's your question for me?
My priority date is current as well. Now, my question is worst case scenario, they deny my appeal before she becomes a citizen. What can I do? Or, well, besides getting a lawyer, because I would love to work with you. The problem is that most of the attorneys that I have consulted with, they wanted like 10K down, and I can make payments. I don't care about that. I can make payments, but what I don't have is like 10,000 to do a single payment, and that was my problem.
So the judge ordered you removed. So you're going to have the removal order vacated. Yeah, what immigration court was this?
Houston, Greenspoint Park.
And they said either withdraw the asylum case or I'm going to deny it. Is that what they said?
No, they said they only gave me two options: either continue with the asylum without a lawyer present or withdraw the application. So I chose to withdraw the application because I didn't want them to do like like to mark me for something or to mess up that.
Was the judge, or I'm sorry, so when you showed up for court the last time, was that the day you were supposed to have your individual hearing, your trial?
Yes, that was an individual hearing.
Did the judge know that you had a pending I-130?
Yes, he actually recognized the bona fides of the marriage on a motion to administrative closure on the record, which he denied.
What a dick. That sucks. That sucks, but that's the new world we live in. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what Trump wants them doing, is not, to me, if I'm an immigration judge and I've got someone whose wife is in the military who has an I-130, I believe the marriage is legit. He's got a valid entry. This is all just causing more of a mess than it needs to be. We're not doing removal. I have a friend who does removal in Houston. If you email me, I can put you in contact with him, and I know for a fact that he does payment plans.
Oh, okay. Is that the green card guys?
No, it's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
But I like
All
the guys. Yeah. All right. Yep. Send me an email. I'll connect you. Okay.
I'll do. Thank you, Jim.
See you, brother. Yeah. Damn, he's right. That was dumb. That was just much more difficult than it needed to be, but that's because that's what Trump wants them to do. All right. Zainab. Hello, Zainab.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I have a question about my asylum case. I applied for asylum in 2015, and I had an attorney back then. And then I applied from Ohio with my family, but my case was separate because I was over 21. Then I moved to Houston, Texas in 2018. So I asked my attorney before moving if that would affect my case anyhow, and he said, you should be good. Then my family got an interview in Chicago, but not me. So I went with them anyway, just in case if the officer wanted to interview me with them, although we're all in like one case, but different files. The officer didn't interview me because he said my file moved to Houston, Texas immigration office. And then, so yeah, my whole family got interviewed except me. They got denial on their case, and they went to court. And then from there, I moved. So from Houston, Texas, in 2019, I moved to Arizona. So my case now, I believe it's in California. Yeah. Anyway, so my sister, she changed their lawyer for their cases after they got denied. And then they got a new lawyer, and they are back in the asylum system. For me, I was still with the old lawyer who took our case at the beginning. So my sister told me that the new lawyer in their case, she updated their story. But since my case is not with them anymore, so I need to update my story with my lawyer. When I contacted my lawyer, he refused to help me. And I believe that's because my sister changed him for their case, although he's still in my case. So I was wondering if I can change lawyer at this point. I was also thinking like if I can hire you instead, what's needed for me at this point. And I've never gotten any interview in 10 years.
So would you say that your asylum case is stronger than your family's, weaker than your family's, or the same as your family's?
I would say it has more things to it. I'm not sure if it's stronger, but
Okay.
I don't think it's weaker.
Okay. And when your attorney filed your asylum case, did you prepare like a long statement that went along with it?
No, we were all, he filed all of us like with the same story, same case, but different files for me and my sister because we were over 21. But the rest of the family, like my dad, my mom, and my sibling, they were all in one case. In one file. But all of the 5 of us were in one case. And then my dad passed away in 2018. So we're now 4. My mom, my 2 siblings are in with another attorney, and me in a separate case. And I don't think I have a lawyer at this point. Or he's still in my case, but since he doesn't want to help me, so I'll have to change lawyer. Right.
So so let's just talk about your case, okay?
Okay.
So there was an I-539 filed for you that explained why you feared going back to your home country, right?
Correct.
And when we file those, we usually include a statement from Zainab providing more detail as to why it's not safe for Zainab to go back to Zainab's home country.
I don't think he did that specifically. He just did for the whole family. Like, why is it not safe for the whole family to go back, but not specifically for me?
Okay. Okay. Well, why don't you email me your contact information,
Mhm.
a little summary of what you just said, like the timeline, and then a copy of what was filed, and
Okay.
we'll take a look at it and let you know what we think needs to happen next. And you're very, very sure that your case is pending in LA now, right?
It is pending, but I'm not sure if it's in California's office or where is it exactly.
Well, I guess what I mean is, you're pretty sure that you notified USCIS that you moved to Arizona and that you're not.
Yes, I'm sure of that, and I received a letter of changing address, so I received a confirmation of that letter. So yeah, I'm sure they know that I changed address, and it's still processing.
Did you and your family come on a visa?
Yes, but we came on different visas. I came on a student visa. My sister came on a regular visiting visa, and my mom, dad, and brother, they came on as visiting for the purpose of like healthcare for my brother because he's sick.
Okay, Zainab, we'll send it over and say, this is Zainab. I was on the show with Jim on Thursday afternoon, and we'll go from there. Okay.
All right. I have another question too. So I work on a field where it's I don't know if it's needed in like in case if I want to file for EB-2 visa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Should I also mention these details to
Yeah.
you in the email if we wanna?
That will all turn on. You filed for asylum while you were still in valid F1 status?
No. I was on a student visa when I applied for asylum.
Right. That's what I meant. No, you were still in status.
Oh, that's the
school. Yeah, that's the F1. That's the visa that you had. So
yeah, that's correct.
You entered on an F1 visa, you went to school, you had an I-20, and before the I-20 expired or before you graduated, you applied for asylum.
Correct.
You hadn't dropped out of school or anything.
I did.
But after you filed for asylum.
So I filed for asylum before even going to school, and then I dropped before going to school.
Okay, so you filed for asylum pretty quickly after you arrived.
Correct.
Got it. But you were still in status at the time that you filed it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. You weren't out of status.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, then mention that because then that might make you eligible to do an EB-2, assuming that you have a case. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I'll email you all the details.
Thank you, Zainab. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
See ya. I see Hina on camera. That means she probably wants me to go over to TikTok and see what's what. All right, let's do it. Sure, Yui, do you provide mock interview sessions? I have my interview soon. No, but I've thought about that and I've offered that as a service. It might be something that we're open to. Shoot us an email, but we do have lots of videos on that. Hina asks, Hina's sending this. Number 2, when filing for the I-130 and the 45 as the parent of a U.S. citizen, do I have to apply for I-7652? You don't have to, but I would. It's only $260, and it gives them a nice ID and proof of status. So I would say yes. Graciela, what happens if you're detained by ICE and have an I-130 pending and are arriving aliens and the judge won't rule? I guess that means on terminating proceedings. Not much you can do in that situation, but just try to beat the bushes and see if you can get a court date or something that'll push things along. Libra Drew, if a judge says your asylum is canceled, should you be worried? Yeah, I would be worried, and I would make sure I have an attorney looking at that right away. Van Del Rey asks, how much does it cost for the marriage process if my partner is a U.S. citizen? So our legal fee is $5,500. Government fees are going to be about $2,000 at the least. Ekaterina, can 21 months of part-time CPT impact post-completion OPT? Can OPT be denied? Ekaterina, you can email me that and I'll answer it for you. I have to look that up. I don't know all those rules about CPT, but I don't know. I just don't know the answer. Nestor saying hello from Denver, and Nurse Laura was watching for a New York Minute with bad reception, so we're always glad to hear from Laura. All right, let's go to Ilium. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Jim.
Hello, how are you?
Afternoon. Doing good. Thank you so much for doing this for our community. So I have a question. I have a sister, not a biological sister. My mom took care of us. My biological mom took care of her. So she came to the US in 2018. She's now a US citizen. And then coincidentally I also came on a visa. Um with talks, we are looking at her getting my mom over here. But since my mom is not her biological mom, for her, her mother is here, her sisters are here, her family are here. But when she was young, my mom took care of her. So I wanted to find out, is it possible for her to get her mom who took care of her over here? Like, how is the process? Is it doable?
Okay, so let's name your friend Mary. Okay, so we have Mary, right?
Yes, sir.
And then we're gonna call your mom Claire, right? So
Yes.
and then Mary's real mom's name is Alice.
Yes, sir.
So Claire was here in the United States and she took care of Mary. Mary is now a U.S. citizen. Is that what you're saying?
Claire was outside the U.S. She took care of the U.S. citizen, but then she was not a U.S. citizen, and she came over here, and she wants to bring the one who took care of her here.
No, there's no family relationship. There's no basis for sponsorship if it's just that your mom helped take care of your friend who's now a U.S. citizen. There's no right to sponsor that person.
Oh.
I mean, unless there was
Okay.
a formal adoption by your mom when she was still a kid, that would be it. But otherwise, if it was just like your mom helped raise her back home in the old country, and now the girl is here and wants to sponsor your mom, there's no that it doesn't work like that.
Okay. There
That's not
was
a
no uh-huh. Okay, so there was no official sponsorship or adoption. But Mr. Jim, I've heard someone do that before for someone who took care of them, so I thought it was something that is done.
Was that in California? Did that happen in California that you heard?
No, in Virginia.
Because everyone knows someone who knows this guy who was able to do this amazing thing that isn't real. So I would say no.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, Iliam. See ya. All right. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney practicing law. We have offices in St. Louis, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and now Chicago. If you haven't left us a review yet for our Chicago office, please do. Go to reviewhackinglaw.com and leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. If you've ever left a review from one of our other offices, you can still go ahead and leave us a review for the Chicago office. It's all linked up. If you go to Review Hacking Law, it'll be on there. I thank everybody for that. We're excited about our Chicago office. I'll be up there a week from Thursday. I got a lot of travel. I'm going to Portland, San Bernardino, Charlottesville, Virginia. Then where am I going? Dallas. Yep. And then Chicago. And then maybe to San Diego. What the heck? All right, let's go to Jay. Hello, Jay.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for taking my call. So I spoke to last week, 2 days ago. And my question is like, I came as a 601 waiver. We did it 3 years back. And then I came back. And the next trip I took to abroad and I came back, the CBP stopped me, at the immigration's point. They were asking me, do you have any problem with immigration? I said, no. Then they said, do you been arrested or something? I told them, no, I came as a waiver. 601 we did. Then they take to the secondary inspection. Then after that, they said, you are set, you can good to go. Right. Then I took a couple other trips, no problem. So now I'm trying to travel. I'm some concerning. Do it affect me or something? Do you have any suggestion on that?
When was that you had the problem last time coming on your 601?
601, I came on 2022. So,
and
yeah.
You're still a green card holder?
Yes.
I would not leave the United States. I think ICE is viewing entries into the United States as a new opportunity to re-adjudicate old issues. So whatever the issue was that caused you to need a 601 waiver the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to hold that against you and want to relitigate that right there at CBP. So my vote is you don't leave till you become a citizen.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Good luck, brother.
Thank you.
Random guy in the house. Hello.
Hey, hi Jim. Thank you for taking my call.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so hey Jim, like I got my conditional permanent resident card a couple of months ago. So like I will be filing my removal of conditions somewhere at the end of next year. So I've got a couple of questions regarding the evidence thing, like what kinds of evidence should we submit for a strong case? And like what should be the time frame of the evidence that we should submit? Should we just submit the evidence just after my conditional permanent card was approved?
Yes. Or I would say not necessarily from that point. I would say from the point that you last sent them shit.
Okay.
So if you know, like you submitted another round of stuff or you brought stuff to your green card interview, from ever that point on, you want to submit more evidence and updated evidence.
Okay, and like, can you just suggest me in the list of evidence that we should submit?
Do you have our list of marriage evidence?
No, I don't have it.
If you send an email, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, we'll send you the same list we give to our clients that
Okay.
that has all of the good documents on there. But, you know, I can just generally tell you the big stuff is, are you spending money together? Are you joining your money together? Have you made any big purchases? Have you gone on travel together? That kind of stuff. So, you know, they understand that sometimes people don't have a ton of evidence when they first get married, but after 2 years, they expect you to have more evidence. So the form is easier, but the evidence standard is higher.
Okay, and Jim, one more question regarding the joint stuff. Like I came here on a student visa, and my wife came here as a like lawful permanent resident. So we both of us have got a different bank accounts. But at the time of marriage, like we just got married a couple of like 1 year ago. So at the time of marriage, we did a joint account. Like we added both of our names to each other's account. So now we hold two accounts that are joint. But the payroll that gets credited to the account has been gone to the different account. So is that a problem for us?
So I just wrote this down because I've been wanting to make this video for a while. Do you want to know what I wrote down?
Yes.
A joint bank account that you don't use is worthless.
No, we do use it. We do use it, both the accounts.
You put all your money into that account?
Yeah, we put the money into the account, but like my payroll goes to one of the account, her payroll goes to the other account. But we do use both the accounts, like transfer everything and make purchases from that account.
From the joint account?
Yeah, both are the joint accounts. Like every account we own is a joint account right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So everything's a joint account. There's no secret accounts.
Nope, there's no secret account.
You're fine because you'll just submit all the evidence. Yeah, that's all good.
All right. Yep. Thank you so much, Jim, for taking the call.
Good luck, brother.
Yep.
All right. All right. What about that call yesterday? That call yesterday was fucked up. Don't you think? It was crazy. Hina was sad for that person. I hope they showed up for that interview today. They got some bad advice. Yowza. Let's see what TikTok has to say. I have my interview in 2 weeks, but my U.S. spouse lost her birth certificate. What should she do? Or we do? I would get a replacement birth certificate. I would also make sure that I have a U.S. passport. You got to show that the U.S. citizen is a U.S. citizen, and those are the two ways you do it. Famka says, I'm a U.S. citizen. My husband has TPS, but he entered without inspection. What should I do? Yeah, file the I-130, get that part going, and then we go from there. John's Contrias, I just became a U.S. citizen. Congratulations. I have a minor son seeking asylum. Do I have to apply for I-130 or N-600? Most likely, you're going to have to do an I-130 because they were not a lawful permanent resident when you NATSed. But I would say that's something important enough to hire an attorney to help you with. Armanetto, my I-130 interview was on April 17th, and I got approved, and that got approved on April 23rd, so 6 days later. My 45 is still pending. Is that normal? So I have a video on this on the YouTube channel, and we talk about it on the show a lot. I would say that if USCIS goes to the trouble of approving an I-130 but not a 45, that means they are concerned that there's something about your past that makes you inadmissible to the United States. So I would think long and hard, like if you're out of status or worked without permission or violated the terms of your status, anything like that, there's something on the 45 that makes them think they can't give you a green card. So you have to ask yourself, what is it? And then you got to figure out, how can I overcome it? 987 AAA asks, would you recommend completing the DS-260 while waiting for the I-601A? No, I would sit tight. I would just slow walk State Department stuff until the 601A is moving. Yassine said, I wanted to re-listen to her clip like 10 times. So we are going to put that one on the podcast, so you will be able to do that, Yassine, on Friday. How about that? Dammy points out lots of U.S. citizens losing their birth certificates these days. I don't know if this is true, but some of my crazy leftist websites that I like to read say that women in particular should be worried about losing their birth certificates and about their ability to vote. And they're talking about sort of some Handmaid's Tale shit about if you change your name, you're not going to be able to vote because the Republicans are cooking up some scheme to keep women from voting. Oh, Hina's all over it. The SAVE Act. Hina knows all about this. All right. So pay attention, people. Second marriage. Hello.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to talk to you. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it.
I'll outline my situation and then follow up with my questions, okay?
You got it.
So I'm a U.S. citizen, born here. I married my college boyfriend in December of 2011. He was here on a student visa from Spain. He obtained his, and that was December 2011. He obtained his residency May 2012. He obtained his citizenship March 2017. We divorced December 2017. So we were married for 6 years. First part of my story. Now, fast forward to my current story. I married a second time. My husband, that I did not know at the time, had a visitor's visa. He entered the country 2 times, one in 2019, one in 2021. The third time he entered, he stayed in the country, so he overstayed on his visitor visa. That was September 2022. We did not know each other. We met in July 2023, married February 2025. So that's 8 years after my original petition. My question is this: how worried should I be about my second petition being a red flag? Because I've obviously gone through the immigration process. I have 2 follow-up questions, but I'll wait if you can answer that first, if that's okay.
So my first question is about the first person. Do you know if that person became a citizen?
Yes, he obtained his citizenship in March 2017. We divorced December 2017.
And do you have any sense as to whether or not that person that you were married to before has themselves remarried?
Yes, I have a sense that he has remarried.
And do you know if that marriage involves someone getting an immigration benefit?
No, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So the question is, round 2, I'm now sponsoring my second spouse. Is that a red flag that I had a case before? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
It's not a fatal red flag, but it is a red flag. Like they're gonna hold it to extra scrutiny. They're probably gonna want to talk to you. They're probably gonna want to squeeze you about that and ask you questions about that. So yeah, I think it's going to be something that slows things down.
How much of a detailed answer will they be looking for when they ask me why I got divorced?
I would say in my experience, just overall, not necessarily on this particular kind of a case situation, but just generally, they usually ask who filed for divorce and why didn't things work out? And that's about it. It's usually pretty light. Is there something that you're worried about?
No, I have nothing that I'm worried about. My first relationship and this one, both valid, and I'm happy to share the information with USCIS. At the same time, my reason or our reason for divorce was just what I would kind of summarize as irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
Like we ended up wanting different things. We had different goals that evolved throughout our relationship that didn't end up aligning. And we just ended up kind of growing apart. So there wasn't really a definitive like, well, he cheated on me, financial infidelity, nothing like that. But that is the truth, and I'm just not sure if that will receive pushback or not.
No, and you know, I liked how you presented this whole case. I like that you know your timeline. I like that you established that you didn't even know this person that you're married to when he went out, that you're married to now when he went out of status, or that you didn't know him when you were married to person number one. So all those kinds of things and sort of the way you're holding yourself out, it comes across pretty confidently. So that doesn't worry me.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. I have just one other question, if that's okay. I assume that they will also ask my husband as to why he overstayed his tourist visa, and that answer is just because he liked it here and wanted to stay. Again, I'm just wondering if that is an answer that would be sufficient for them, or what else they would be looking for when they ask that question.
It doesn't really matter why. That question is actually not asked as often as you would think, and usually it's one answer and they move on.
Okay.
Like, have I ever had an officer like grill someone? You knew you were supposed to leave and you didn't leave. Why didn't you leave? You're a bad person. I've never had that happen.
Right. Okay. Sorry, and just one last question, if that's okay, to go back to the original comment that you made about that they will, probably ask me about my first marriage. Would I need to still have supporting evidence for the validity of that marriage? Like the original documentation that we submitted in the first application, would they ask for that type of documentation, or just ask questions to try to understand how valid it was?
That's an excellent question. And I would say I would not bring any extra evidence to prove up that old marriage. Now, we see plenty of situations here where somebody applies for a green card through person number one, and then that falls apart, and then they marry person number two, which is obviously different than your situation. So in those situations, I think a lot of times the whole case comes down to whether the first marriage was legit, and a lot of times in the new case, they'll get a request for evidence or a notice of intent to deny. But I think you go in there acting like, yeah, this is completely normal. There's nothing to see here with the old marriage. And as long as you had a long history together, as long as someone didn't call them up and say, yeah, that was a fake marriage, she just did it to get him a green card, then I think most likely it's going to go. I wouldn't over prepare for that eventuality. I would just say to myself, if this comes up and I get an RFE, I'll have to deal with it then. But I wouldn't go in there with it in hand. That would be a little weird.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate all your information and your feedback. It makes me feel much more at ease. So thank you for your time.
That's why I'm here. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Oscar is here. Hello, Oscar.
Hi, Jim. Sorry, caught me off guard. I was cleaning something. This is Oscar. We had you guys had my case a little while ago. Just wanted to again hop on and say thank you. The whole ceremony went well. It was awesome. We were both obviously very happy. It was just, I already have my U.S. passport in hand. I certainly recommend to anybody doing the expedited process. Yes, it's a little bit more money. I think it was $65 for the additional fee. However, in times like these, I feel like that's important to have.
I was very happy that you got your citizenship. I was very glad because we did your original green card too, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
And I was glad that everything went smoothly and that you're a new citizen. And I certainly appreciated your Facebook post and your Google review. And thank you. Everyone at the office was really, really happy when you got your citizenship because you were such a nice person to work with.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate all that you guys do. This morning I was watching the mock interview that you guys posted about a month ago.
Yeah.
And was just cracking up about you saying that the officer is a real stickler and don't piss her off. And then the officer is Armani. You're a smart man.
Yeah. She got really mad because they called her a battle axe. She doesn't like it when I call anyone a battle axe, but I said, because see, one thing, through the magic of television, we actually shot the interview first, and then I went outside and gave them the advice, so I sort of knew what was going to happen. So that made it more fun.
I actually also had a quick question. So it was one of the previous questions, one of the first questions that sort of sparked my interest. Of course, I do still have my German passport, and Germany does at this point allow dual citizenship. I know that there is some.
Finally they do.
Yes. They passed that in, I think, June of 2024. Yes. And the question that I have for you is not that my wife is pregnant or anything, but we're looking into, now that that stressor of the immigration is removed, we're looking into expanding the family. And would our kids be eligible for German citizenship now that I'm naturalized, or would they not?
That would be a question for a German immigration attorney. I just don't know.
Okay. From an American standpoint, they don't have control over that.
No. I mean, everyone. Okay. When you became a U.S. citizen, you gave up all allegiances to Germany, and that's all part of the deal. But the other part of the deal is that almost everybody has 2 passports.
Right. And from what my attorney Tim identified, the U.S. does not have power to take away my German citizenship. That's up to Germany.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. So again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Laleska. Thank you to Tim. Thank you to Omani, who did my first interview. And you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Oscar. See you, buddy. Have a good day.
Yep. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, what a nice call. Didn't we like getting that call? We were all happy for Oscar when he got his citizenship. A couple more questions from TikTok. What do you think? Oh, just a couple. If you're in removal proceedings and you get arrested, will your pending asylum case be canceled? Well, it could make you ineligible for asylum. But asylum is pretty broad, and there's lots of discretion for an officer to approve someone, even with a conviction, so it depends. Username asks, my mom's visitor visa got denied. I'm an LPR, and I'm the only child of her. Any idea of denial? Yeah, they didn't think she was going to go back home. They thought that you were going to become a U.S. citizen and sponsor her, and that she doesn't have enough ties back to the old country, and that she's not going to leave on time. Oh, we got Goodwill from Ireland. Hello, Goodwill. My people are from Ireland and Scotland. Hoping to get a green card with my U.S. fiance, K1 to green card, or just marry and apply green card straight. Goodwill, if you look on the YouTube channel, I made a video about 3 months ago. For the last 2 or 3 years, I've been telling people to go ahead and get married. I'm not a big fan of the fiance case. There's these myths on the internet that fiance cases go faster. That used to be true 10 years ago. It's not true anymore. You're going to save yourself a little bit of money, and if you do the I-130. And the thing about fiancés is every now and then, in a limited number of cases, and I can never predict why, there's a distinction. There's always a distinction between I-129F's fiance and I-130's married. And that is I-129F's do, in fact, their approval notices do expire much faster than an I-130. So if you get an I-129F and the State Department doesn't like your case, they don't have to refuse the visa. They can just let it expire and not renew it. And they can't really do that with an I-130. So for that reason and that reason alone, if someone is sort of equipoise trying to decide fiance or spouse, I almost always say spouse. McDonald asks, how long does it take a DOJ response after a case is submitted to a law enforcement agency applying for a T visa? McDonald, I don't know. I'm sorry. I think it takes a long time. I have never handled a T visa. Trafficking just came up on a show that we're watching, and I said to Amani, man, we've never had a T visa. But I'm sorry, I just don't know. I would imagine it takes a while. All right. Abu Bakr, hello.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How you doing?
I'm doing the best. How are you? Thank you so much for doing this.
You got it. What's up? How can I help?
Yeah, so I have a question. I'm a Canadian resident, and I came multiple times to the United States, and right now I'm applying for my citizenship in Canada. While I'm visiting here, my fiance, she's a green card holder. So I was thinking to transfer from my school to United States, and then we can to start the process. So I have two part of the question is, should we start the process before I come to school or after I come to school?
I would,
There is one I want to mention before that. For the last time that I came, I did not have I-94.
yeah, that's okay. How did you come across the? You drive?
Yeah, I drove,
Mm-hmm.
but like I went through the official border, but I did not have any I-94.
So how are we going to prove a valid entry?
I do have it in the travel history, but I don't have it like when I go. It tell me, oh, there is no information found on the record.
When you say we have it in the travel history, what do you mean?
Like when you go to the I-94, because
Yeah.
there is two. You can get
Right.
the most recent I-94,
Yeah.
and you can see the travel history. You can see the travel history, but there is no recent I-94. Although I had a prior I-94 at the same travel documents, but for the last visa, because my country of birth, I only got one entry visa.
Yeah. I gotcha. So I'm not worried about that. That's okay. You can overcome that. That's fine. They know that you're here. They know that you had a valid entry, so that's good. If you marry a U.S. citizen and then apply for a change of status, it's going to decrease the chances of your change of status from B1, B2 to F1. It's going to make that much harder to get approved.
Can you say that
Yeah.
again?
Yeah, you were asking me which should we start on first, the student visa or the spouse route, right?
Yes.
And you want to go to school in the United States, right?
Yes, that's true.
What I'm saying is you are much more likely to get a B1, B2 changed to an F1 if you're single than if you're married. In other words, if you get married and then apply for a change, it's going to make it harder to get approved.
Okay, I get this point. I also have another question follow up, if I may.
Of course.
So I had been ordered to leave the country like 3 times previously.
What?
And one of the time I withdrew my admission because I was using the automatic revalidation. And
Yeah.
even the last time I entered, I used the automatic revalidation without any visa because I only get one single entry. So I stay in Canada for less than 30 days and I came to visit. So I don't have to go to the embassy and wait a long time to get a new visa.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be a problem?
Well, my question is, did you ever mislead CBP when coming back? Did they ever ask you about that or anything?
They did ask me once or maybe twice.
And what did you say?
Well, I told them like, okay, when I went to the different border that I usually cross by, they told me you cannot use the automatic revalidation. You only just have one entry. And they sent me back. That's what happened. And the other second times, they just denied me entry and sent me back.
Okay, so you saved the most complicated part of your case till the very end, and now that I think this changes a lot. Like before, if I were you, before I filed for any immigration benefits, I would get my complete record from CBP, and I'm worried that they're going to think that you shouldn't have been allowed to re-enter the United States after being turned around. You said 3 times.
Yes, because even the last time I was at the booth, I can see in the computer that there is a red note that's blinking on the officer, although he let me in.
Right. Right. So I think this is a lot more complicated, and you should be really careful about what you do next.
So should I start with the F1 proceeding first?
No,
in
you
that
should.
case?
You should track down all of your records and make sure you don't have a misrepresentation problem, which is what I'm worried about. Like in theory, you might not be. You might not. Perhaps you're not supposed to be in the United States right now.
Okay, so that would be my fault in this status, in this type of case. Although,
it depends. I don't know that they'll believe you that you didn't lie. Does that make sense? Even if you didn't lie, they're gonna say you did. Even if you
even
did.
after that, I obtained multiple visas, and the consular officer asked me about the interaction, and I told them that immediately.
I mean, if you can prove that it was always disclosed, that's different. Yeah.
Yes, I did. I did disclose it every time. Even the last time that I got visa, they asked me about it and didn't ask me any other question and told me, "Oh, you got your travel documents in 2 days."
Well, I would say you need to do a deep dive on everything and be confident that you're going to that this is going to work.
Okay. Oh, that's now I'm worried more than before. Okay, I'll say I will contact your office and see what to do about that.
Sounds good, brother.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate your answer.
Okay, bye-bye. All right. Probably got time for a couple more questions. Let's go to Shavkat. Shavkat, hello.
Hey, Jim, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, I am currently on US with H-1B visa, transition from F1. And last I entered in 2023 with the H-1B visa when the CBP issued the I-94, which has a date of expiry, which is July 2025, and which is reflected based on my previous passport expiration date. However, the visa, H-1B visa, is already expired, which was in 2024. Currently, however, the H-1B is valid until 2026 May. So my question is, which I-94 should I be work with?
The one you should assume that the one that's earlier is the one that governs.
What do you mean earlier deadline?
You have a visa in your passport that expires next year on the date that your passport expired, right? Or expires, right?
A visa is already expired. The passport is expiring, previous passport is expiring 2025 July.
Okay, and so but I thought you said the visa went through the time that the last passport lasted. No.
Okay, let me clarify. So when I got in with a valid visa, visa is in 2024. Visa is expired. However, they didn't issue the I-94 based on the H-1B I-94 because my passport were expiring in 2025.
Right.
So I have two I-94. One is I-94 came with the I-797 with notice of action at the bottom, and another I-94 with the when I got entered with the CBP, which is 2025.
So why are you asking? Are you planning on leaving the United States?
No, my question is all the suggestion I'm hearing, they're saying my I-94 after the I-94 got invalid, which is to 2025, I will be out of status. That's what I'm hearing. However, my H-1B is valid. H-1B, not the visa. Only the H-1B is valid based on the notice of action is 2026.
Without looking at all of your documents and seeing the entire timeline, I believe the correct answer is that you're in status as long as you're inside the United States. But if you leave the United States, you're going to need a new stamp.
Not planning to leave until it is necessary. I'm not planning to leave.
And are you on your first H-1B or your second?
First one.
So you'll renew your H-1B
before the CBP issued I-94 expiring. That's what you were saying.
I believe that you're okay, but I can't guarantee that. That's something I'd have to research and make sure. I couldn't tell you that over this call.
All right. Do you mind if I send you all the information so you can take a look?
Yeah, but I'd have to charge you. That's not something I would do for free.
Okay, I understand. Just we can work it out, I guess.
Perfect. Thanks, Shafkat.
Thanks for the amazing opportunity. You have a good one.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah, Yassine is right. Today is Noor's birthday. Today, Noor is 16, and you guys know that. Well, maybe you don't know. I started my TikTok channel a long time ago. She helped me start it, and the deal was that for every 1,000, how did that work? For every 1,000 subscribers, I'd give her $100. That's what it was. and we're up to like 175,000 subscribers. So we cut a deal, and she's wanted a Jeep for a long time. So this morning, I came to the office and picked up her new Jeep, and it's a used Jeep, her used Jeep, and brought it home. And so she was very excited. And Yassine's right, I posted that on our Facebook page. She's very excited. So it's fun for her. Yeah, my baby girl who used to fit in my arm from here to here is now 16 and hell on wheels. She's a force of nature, just like her mother. I sure love her. And we're going to her soccer game tonight. So on that happy note, I will be back tomorrow. I just don't know when. It depends. Everything's up in the air because Amani's having that little knee scope. I hope you guys all have a great night and a great weekend if I don't see you tomorrow. Otherwise, text the word show, SHO, to 314-470-3300, and we'll let you know when the next show is. Thanks, everybody, and have a good night. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.